mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, mic check. Is everybody good? All right, thank you everyone for coming last minute. I know we did have a public incident this morning in the city of Socorro. We are going to be going ahead and doing a press conference, giving the public a little bit of information on the ongoing status of that event. I do want to go ahead and give an overview on how the press conference is going to go. We'll go ahead and do the press conference first in English, and then questions in English right after. Then we'll do it in Spanish with questions in Spanish right after that. Please silence your cell phones just while everything is being recorded. We are going live on the city's Facebook page. If anyone has any inquiries onto getting footage of that, they can go ahead and reach the city of Socorro at breta@costx.us or phone number 915-319-0125 for the Public Information Office. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce the panel behind me. Representing the Socorro Police Department, we do have Chief David Burton. From Constable Precinct 6 Office, we have Constable Javier Garcia. Constable Precinct 4's Office, Constable Luis Aguilar. Constable Precinct 1 Office, Constable Oscar Ugarte. Representing the Isleta del Sur Tribal Police Department, we have Chief Robert Martinez. From Texas Department of Public Safety, we have Sergeant Mark Couch. From El Paso Sector Border Patrol, we have Acting Deputy Matthew Combs. From El Paso Police Bomb Squad, we have Lieutenant Ken Long. And representing the City of Socorro's Council, we have Council Representative District 3, Mr. Rudy Cruz. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and welcome Chief David Burton to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is David Burton, B-U-R-T-O-N. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Socorro. We thought it was important that we hold this press conference this afternoon, just so we can put out information that assures the public that there is no immediate or imminent threat to any public member at this time. I'm going to go down the list of the events as they occurred today. The information that you're getting is hot off the presses, so to speak. It is brand new. We will not be able to take any in-depth type questions because, as you can imagine, this is still very much in the investigative stage at this point. We can take some questions at the end, and I'll answer them as best I can, but I might not have all of the answers for you at this point. However, we will get those to you later on. So today in the city of Socorro at about 9:20 this morning, we went to an address on La Cienega for a domestic call. The first officer arrived on scene at approximately 9:35, and we were told at that point that there was a male subject inside the residence who was involved in a domestic, potentially our suspect, and that we needed to make contact with that individual. So for approximately an hour, the officers on scene attempted to talk this individual into coming outside of the residence. And at about 10:31, that individual fled the residence in a motor vehicle and then began a pursuit which initially took us out onto Socorro Road towards San Eli. When that individual drove the vehicle to the intersection of Dindinger and Socorro Road, there was a motor vehicle accident. At the same time, there was also a carjacking. The suspect had wrecked his vehicle and took another vehicle to continue the pursuit. That pursuit continued along Socorro Road into San Eli, then back on Socorro Road, back into Socorro, and then went into some side neighborhood roads. For a moment, we lost sight of him, and eventually we did pick him back up on Socorro Road. The pursuit from there went on several main roads, including Socorro Road, Alameda, Horizon, Dindinger, Zaragoza, Gateway, and I-10. That lasted from 10:30 until 11:16 a.m., at which time there was a car accident on I-10. The male subject is 27 years old. We're not going to identify him at this point because we need to confirm his identity. And again, we need to make sure that the investigation stage is done thoroughly and completely. That male subject was transported from the scene for injuries and taken to a local hospital. It wasn't just the Socorro Police Department that assisted with ending this pursuit and subsequent shots fired, because this individual did shoot at police officers and bystanders as this pursuit took place over the course of about an hour. So I want to thank these individuals that are behind me, inclusive of SISD, Socorro Independent School District, and the El Paso Police Department, because we needed their bomb squad to help us clear the residents based on the fact that the individual had flooded that house with gas. And that, again, is active and ongoing at this time. So thank you very much to SISD, El Paso PD, DPS, Border Patrol, all of the constables' offices, because we couldn't have done it without them. And I'll take any questions that you have at this time.
Do we know if the suspect, you mentioned he was transported because of injuries, do we know at this point what type of injuries? Was he shot? And is he still alive at the moment?
Yeah, I don't have that. I would have to be out at the scene. The Sheriff's Office is the lead agency as far as any type of use of force from Socorro locally, and then the Texas Rangers from DPS will follow up as far as that. So as far as officers shooting that individual, I can't answer that question at this time.
How about when he fled from his house? There was officers there when he fled. He put through the back or?
No, he came out the front. But again, you have to realize, right, because the officers there at the time, they don't expect this level of force to be used against them. Multiple shots fired as a result of the pursuit, multiple locations. The last count, I think I had at least seven locations where he was shooting at police officers and or bystanders. But at that time, we're just trying to coax him out of the house. We're just trying to talk him out, because obviously we want to end that situation peacefully. So for him to flee, we weren't expecting that.
Did he shoot when he was coming out of the house?
Not initially, no, ma'am.
As far as the shots were fired, it was throughout from Clint, I believe it was from Clint all the way up until I-10, Gateway West. Was it throughout the entire time that he kept firing?
Yeah, so as far as that's concerned, there's multiple times. So again, investigative-wise, right now we have to go back and pull the radio logs and the officers' transmissions, because the officers call out each time there's a time that they either engaged the suspect or the suspect fired at them. And I don't want to give you a number and be inaccurate about that. So that's an investigative. I can tell you that during the entire course of this, there were multiple locations and multiple times that was called out over the radio.
Were any officers hit?
Pardon?
Were any officers hit?
No, I don't have any report of officers being injured at this time.
Any civilians injured, including the accident that happened on Dindinger?
Right, so there is an accident on Dindinger. I don't know the condition of that individual. But no other, so pending that one, no other injuries reported.
What was the arm?
I don't know. I mean, it was a handgun, but I don't know.
How difficult is it to stop a pursuit? How difficult is it?
So there's devices that are made that can do that fairly quickly. One of them is spike strips or tire deflation devices. There's also tire capture type devices. The problem with that is how dynamic the situation is, how quickly it evolves, and if you can get into position in front of this individual in order to deploy those type instruments. In this case, we weren't able to do that.
How was he originally stopped? You mentioned a lot of agencies were involved in apprehending him. How was he originally stopped? Where it finally ended?
That was a crash. Where he finally stopped, it was a crash.
What was he driving?
It was a red pickup truck at that point. And that was the second carjacked vehicle.
Where did he carjack the second one?
On Horizon.
And the initial vehicle that he fled?
The initial vehicle that he fled is in the motor vehicle accident on Dindinger.
The pursuit was happening in an area where there's so many schools. Do we know if there was a lockdown at the moment?
There was so we did contact our partners. We have a very good partnership with SISD, Socorro Independent School District. We did notify them of what was taking place, and I believe they did go into lockdown.
So he fled, he got into one crash, carjacked the first car, fled again in that car, got in another crash, hijacked another car, fled, and then crashed on I-10.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, that's something that we'll have to go through the investigation, make sure that we have the correct rosters involved, and then I can let you know how many officers exactly were involved.
Do you have a ballpark?
I don't.
Could you speak a little bit more about the bomb squad being needed?
So that's a precautionary type event. Originally, because we did smell the gas when we went to the residence, we did call out El Paso Gas, and again, I forgot an agency to thank, so thank you to El Paso Gas for coming out. When they put a reader on the door, they find a very high contact inside, so we did not go inside the residence at that point, and just as a precaution then, we would ask the bomb squad to come and assist us with that.
Was the suspect the only person in the home, or was there someone else with him?
No, so from the domestic, the partner had managed to leave the residence, so at the time that we were handling the initial complaint, it was the officers just trying to make contact with that individual.
Was there any case involved in the house?
Not that I know of.
And just if you could name, you mentioned there was several agencies involved in this, if you could just name the agencies, or at least the number of the agencies.
So it's everyone that you see here, so DPS is involved, the Constable's Office 1, 4, and 6, Border Patrol, Isla del Sur Pueblo, Tigua Police, SISD Police, and the Sheriff's Office.
There was a report that some of the bridges were closed because of the pursuit. Do we know any information about that, or?
So I'm not aware of any bridges that were closed. That would be directed to our brother agency at the Office of Field Operations for CBP.
Thank you.
I noticed one cruiser that was smashed on the front end. Was that involved in stopping? Is that, describe that crash?
Yeah, so we have reports, again, initial reports, so we have, what's been told to me is that I have multiple vehicles that are police vehicles belonging to the city of Socorro that do have varying degrees of damage, whether that is from impact with a suspect vehicle or another vehicle or an object or gunfire. Okay, that would be part of the investigation that we will discover later on.
Who's taking the lead in this investigation as far as to what's going to happen?
Okay, so the criminal side of things will be Socorro Police Department. Because we used force during this pursuit, then the sheriffs on the local level, on the county level, will be handling an outside agency investigation into our use of force, and then on the state level, ultimately, the Texas Rangers will also do an investigation into the use of force.
Is I-10 still closed until what time is it, or is it still open?
I believe I-10 is still closed.
You know what time it's?
I don't know.
Okay, from work to I-10?
So so because the sheriff's major crimes are out there doing an active investigation, it is basically up to them as far as when they feel comfortable opening that highway.
Do we know if any of the people involved in carjackings were injured?
I don't have any reports of injuries from the carjackings. I should say this, though. We will be reaching out. So in the city of Socorro, we do have a victims advocates office, okay, that the police department has. So as part of our counseling services that we do offer, we will have the victim services individual reach out to the victims of those events, because obviously they can be very traumatic.
And was the initial car, was it the black pickup truck that was in the intersection?
I believe it was the pickup truck that was the initial, yes, ma'am.
The black one, right?
I believe so, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Anything else? We're good? Okay. Victor?
Thank you, everyone. We'll be doing it in Spanish now. Not sure if our English stations want to stick around. I don't think she's going to be available for private interviews afterward. So thank you all for joining us, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the Spanish ones. Bear with me. Give me 1 second. I'll give them a second to move their stuff out so that way you can get our audio pretty clear. Yeah, go for it.
Gracias.